I want to talk about Her Majesty the Queen, who's just died, and have some thoughts about monarchy. But I want to start somewhere completely different, and that is to just ask you about your talents and what talents have you discovered in your life. And one of the things that strikes me was, I used to think about this at a primary school. You'd work out who the most talented person was in your class, and the sort of talents we'd look out for were being fast. Who was the fastest person in the class? That was pretty significant. You got a certain glamour if you were good at times tables, if you were the best at kind of times tables and doing that. Where I went to school, people could be pretty impressed by that. There was even a certain kudos to being the heaviest in the class. I remember it was Simon Roberts won the graph challenge for being the heaviest, and I was slightly put out that I wasn't there, which is maybe curious. But anyway, on all these things, and we do even in life, we have things which are quite obvious star qualities. And one of the things I think is interesting about the Queen is if you look at who she is, those obvious star qualities aren't especially there. So take intelligence. She's perfectly intelligent, but she's not, dazzlingly so. She can give a speech, which is fine, but no one's thinking, oh, this is the most charismatic speaker ever. She's perfectly attractive, but it was Diana who had the movie star looks in the royal family, not the Queen. On a lot of the kind of standard, outstanding talents which would make people into a star, give them star quality, they're not the Queen's gifts. And yet, look at the astonishing tributes from all around the world. Look at the kind of heartfelt appreciation. And I think it's because of other qualities, which are on the one hand more accessible, but on the other hand really seen to the degree in which she embodied them. I'll just pick out two. Diligence, just doing the job day after day after day. And the number of just buildings she's opened, the number of assemblies she's graced with her presence, the number of tea parties she's given, the number of people she's given public honours to. There's just relentless appointments, diary, engagement after engagement after engagement, and consistently being interested and showing care. It's to do that the whole time and basically never stop. And she didn't, she was working till the last week of her life, meeting the new Prime Minister. That consistent work, diligently doing, serving, doing her duty, it's just astonishing. Second one is a bit more complicated. And I'd pick out self-restraint. Self-restraint, by the way, in the ancient world was a much more... people rated it much more highly than we do now, I suppose, because we're all about being in tune with our emotions or something. So it has been a quality, a Christian quality. St. Paul would pick it out a lot. And this comes from her position. The British monarchy is a very strange institution. If you're going to start a country, I don't think you'd start it with a monarchy that looks like ours. It is kind of evolved in a very strange way. In the medieval times, you were good at being king if you were good at fighting battles, basically, and then appointing people in office. That's not what we're looking for now. And weirdly, we're not looking for any political view at all. And whoever is the king or queen has to show restraint about their opinions. I can give my opinion about refugees or the England football team or... what should be in the budget, or what we do about the fuel crisis, or anything like that. You can give that opinion. She can't. He can't. Charles can't. You have to inhabit this role in a way which is curiously self-sacrificing. Of course, you're very wealthy, so it softens the blow. But actually to embody that self-restraint and to refuse to give in to the temptation to kind of interfere has an aspect of sacrifice about it. And it is very impressive. And by embodying that, I think she's given Britain something which counterintuitively is more powerful than all the kind of charismatic star quality, because in the end, those qualities are the ones that people recognise. Consistent care, stability. In Alistair Darling's memoirs, Alistair Darling, the former Chancellor of the Exchequer, he talks about a total crisis point in his ministry and for the world with the financial crisis. And there was this sense that everything could go to the wall. And Gordon Brown, the British Prime Minister, called the world leaders to a big meeting. And a lot of people are not especially fans of Brown. We quite admire his actions there. And when these world leaders came, for sure, they all came and they all kind of voted in that they'd contribute, shore up 200 billion here and 50 billion there. But Alistair Darling was outside this meeting room as it happened. And what they really cared about, these world leaders, they'd hang around. They really, really wanted to meet the Queen. That was it. So Gordon Brown had called them to London, but what got them there was the Queen. Gave us astonishing soft power, wildly beyond the superficial powers involved. So I think we give thanks to the Queen and give thanks for her just consistent trying and see if we can learn a bit from her in that. Amen.